Alright, so we are back, and today we're going to do the showdown in between the three rampages. So, there they are in arm mode. We'll start off with that one. Now, quick to note, they're all guilty of the, not everything fits into combined mode. We got this gun toe that goes to the foot that TFC comes with. We also got and now this will combine into the foot. He's also got the sword pick thing, which will eventually combine into the combiner sword. But he does have a tail, which does nothing. Now, unique toys, while in combined mode, he does come with all of the guns for the Predaking. So, he does come with this. This does combine together. And it actually can port right onto his forearm because it doesn't work on dive bomb. And there you go. But here he does come with a sword, which does not work in combined mode. And then we get to Mastermind Creations. He comes with his gun, which you can plug in here. It's more or less designed for dive bomb. But I believe you should be able to plug it in on this side as well. And you can. Okay. So it does come with that. And this is probably the way I will have it. Just have it on this side. As opposed to on Dive Bomb's arm. Because of Dive Bomb's bird feathers. It's not very G1 accurate. But, whatever. He also comes with the guns. These do combine into the cannon. He comes with his knives, also that combined in with the cannon. But he also comes with parts that don't combine in, or completely anyway. He comes with the arm bits for Bovis or Fortis, if you're having problems with them. And he also comes with the completion kit, which is all those forearm pieces for the Predaking, which, you can find places for them. Once I actually have a place to display my Predaking proudly like I should, I'm definitely going to be trying to utilize all of these. And it also comes with a different face. Now, yeah, he is guilty of this, but I'm not going to count that against him because of the fact that all of his parts, all the Mastermind Creations Rampage parts, go into, either fixing other issues, giving you guys a face that you wanted, filling in gaps, stuff like that. So I'm not going to fault him for that. Now, I'm not going to fault him either, because he does have a sword that sits off to the side in this mode. But he does come with guns that complete the entire Predaking, the overall aesthetic of the Predaking, when they're in robot mode. So I'm not going to fault him for that. I won't. And because I'm giving both of these guys a pass, he's got a tail that sits off to the side. I'm not going to fault him for that either. It wouldn't be fair. Now, when we talk about combined mode, though, let's all the accessories aside, let's just talk about combined mode. We'll start with the TFC one. So while he's in combined mode, he does look like an arm. It does work very well as an arm, and he does have he will have the ratchet in and out at the shoulder, and then forward and back. That's a point of posability that doesn't really count right now. He's got a bend right below the elbow and right above the elbow, and he does have an elbow joint, that gives you a good range of motion there. I mean, as far as you can get. Okay, we're gonna leave it bent right now so I can show something else off later. Hand rotates. Each of the fingers has 1, 2, 3 points of articulation. So very posable hands. And the thumb has a ball joint and 2 points of articulation. And he does have 2 thumbs, which is weird, but more bestial, and it works. So there you go. Now, setting him off to the side, we'll take a look at unique toys. We'll get the cannon off here. Now he's got the same thing. I mean, I'm not really counting this as posability, but he does have it. It will ratchet in and out all around. He does have a waist swivel, so that gives him a bend right, or a hinge right above the elbow. Now, because he uses his legs as the elbow joint, he's got 1, 2 different points of articulation. And also, if you don't like it, you could rotate it up. Yeah, he'll have a little bit shorter, stockier arms, but you don't have to. And even when you do this, come on. Even when you do this, he still has a decent bend at the elbow. But when you have it how it's supposed to be, out, he's got a double bend at the elbow. So his hand goes all the way up and around. The hand itself is on a ball joint, so it actually gets more range of motion than the TFC one. Each finger is on a ball joint, and they all have ball joint, hinge, hinge. So 3 different points of articulation. So his fingers have the same amount of articulation, but because they're ball joints, he can get like a wider claw. Hand is on a hinge here, and he's got 2 hinges. He's got a hinge at the thumb, and 1, 2 bends at the thumb as well. So it's much more of a natural looking claw hand. So it looks, I think it looks really incredible. Yeah. So we'll leave him bent, so you can see. I thought I was going to leave him bent. It's the different ranges of posability in the arm. Because when we get to Master My Creations, yes, he will still have the exact same shoulder joint. It goes up and down, all around. It's a really tight joint, so it's hard for me to kind of show it off. He's got a swivel right below the elbow and right above it. And here is his elbow bend. 2 points. That's it. That's all he has. And as far as hand goes, he doesn't have one, because it comes with a different figure. So he's not a complete limb, which is really, really unfortunate. And yeah, because I'm rating these figures based on the figures present, just as they come, he makes the worst limb mode because he doesn't have the hand, and he's only got 2 points of movement at the elbow, And as you can see, there's nothing touching here. It's not getting caught on anything. I can fold it like this, and he gets a little bit more due to his waist, due to the hips. But that's not, that wouldn't work for him because this is supposed to be either the inside or the outside of his arm. It has to be the outside if you use the gun on this side. So as far as combine mode goes, I'm going to have to give the first point to TFC and Unique Toys. Now, and quite frankly, this arm is a better arm, but this one does look better because of the non-gap. A lot of people hated the gap. I don't mind it because I think it makes sense that they would use the legs of the Transformer for the elbow. Just makes logical sense to me. But maybe they could have found a way to fill it in. And, he does that job better, even though he's not as successful of an arm, because he doesn't lock in as well as that guy does. And his hand is better than his hand, but he just looks more like an arm. Just in general. Just wish he would lock in a little bit better. So, there's combine mode. So I'm going to flip these guys over into beast mode real quick, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so we're back, and taking a look at the beast mode. So pretty much weapons don't really work in this mode. Now you could, plug some weapons in with him, with the Mastermind Creations one, if you wanted to, make him look more G1. Now, this is really tough, because so far the TFC's Rampage is my favorite one of their team, and the Unique Toys Rampage has always been my favorite. He is not quite in the scale of being my favorite, but he's so much better. It's it's an incredible. This is awesome. To actually be in a dilemma of 3 figures that are actually that good. So we'll start off with the Unique Toys ones on this one. He, it definitely resembles a robot, but they all do in a way. But because of the fact that his back legs lock together to make him look more like the back portion of a cat, and then he's got his legs on the side, it really works to his benefit. And I think my neighbor's crazy. So yeah, posability here, his head rotates around. The jaw can open and close. Shoulders are on ball joints. All around, up, down, in, out. Good there. Swivels at the bicep. Double bend elbow. And then the foot is on a ball joint. The back legs swivel up and down. This will swivel in and out. Knee can bend in and out. And then the foot is on a ball joint. And then the tail swivels up and down where it connects into the body. And it's got another hinge right after that. And then a hinge at the tail. So it gets a pretty good range of motion there. Now mine does have that problem of this leg being really loose, and I just cannot find a way to tighten it without damaging the figure, but that's individual figure problem. I haven't seen anybody else. Oh, and the shoulder cannons can rotate around. There's that. Now, TFC one. Now this figure is, you know, as I said in his review, he's a lot superior to him. Head is on a swivel, rotates around. It does look down, up and down. Teeth do open close. Really nice painted teeth there. Shoulders ratchet up and down, in and out. Bends at the elbow. Bends below the elbow, so he's got double bend elbow essentially. Rotates at the elbow. Foot has a little bit of in and out, but the claws can move up and down. He does have he doesn't have a waist swivel. That's why he transforms. He does definitely have more of a cat profile because of the way things are designed back here. But the legs can rotate up and down. They kind of can go out, or they can go out due to the bend at the thigh, and the robot thigh in there. There is a hinge here, and a ball jointed foot. Oh, and the claws bend in. The tail, there's nothing really at the tail. You can rotate it around, but that's going to make it just fall out. But yeah, he definitely looks, like I said in the Predaking review, you know, if you have a transmetal Cheetor laying around, that's the best thing I can describe this thing as. He definitely has a vibe of a transmetal Cheetor, which is why I think these things are much more in the Timelines designs that right before Beast Wars happened. So there's that one. And then we get into Mastermind Creations. The head is on a ball joint, so looks around, great range of motion there. Again, mouth opens and closes. He doesn't have light piping like TFC does, but he's got the gold painted eyes like Unique Toys. But he's got the silver painted teeth like TFC. Get those out of the way. Arms rotate up and down, in and out. Swivels at the bicep. Bends at the elbow. Not the best bend, but more than what you need for the cat. Foot is on a hinge here and rotating swivel. I'll get to the waist here in a second. Back legs are on swivels and they hinge in and out. There's a swivel at the back leg, bend at the knee, and a ball jointed foot. Tail has one connector port where one hinge where it's connected, and then one right in the middle. Now, despite the fact that this was a really weak point in the combined mode, this is a very strong point in the cat mode. As you can see, I've got the elbow designed so that he's more like, you know, coming around a corner look. You can close this up, rotate him around, and you can get him more like about ready to pounce. Rotate this around again, and you can get him like stalking. Or you can just have it straight. You know, you got so many options because of that, and it's really nice. You know, my only gripe with this figure is the fact that the face is kind of visible when you move the head in certain positions, which I answer by don't move the head in certain positions. So this is really tough for me. I think definitely Mastermind Creations, definitely their Rampage works really well in Beast Mode. But I'm also going to give a point to TFC. Because like I said, this cat mode definitely has like a Beast Wars vibe, and once you get into that mindset, it really works for this figure. He's doesn't have such flat lines. He's more angular, more bestial looking, not so much mechanical tiger. And where I did originally said this was the best one of the unique toys, as far as beast mode goes anyway, I can't give him anything because he's just not good enough. I really hate to say that, but when compared to these two, he just falls short in this mode, and it's really unfortunate. So we're gonna get these guys into robot mode and take it from there. Okay, we're back. We got them in robot mode, and so so here we go. Okay, let's start. Let's just go straight down the list here. Next up on the list is scale. So let's see which one scales best with which collection. You know, which ones work, which ones don't work. So here is a masterpiece car. Now Rampage, you know, being a Predacon, should be pretty big. So, but you know, Predacons were all about the same size. Razor Claw should be about the size of, I would say, a Seeker. So let's get a Seeker out. A masterpiece Seeker, that is, being Sunstorm. And as you can see, he's more than a head shorter than the masterpiece Sunstorm. Which for me puts him out of the scale for masterpiece. So now we really have to just focus on classic scale. Now there essentially is two different classic scale. There's the ones where you use the Seekers, the classic Seeker mold, and go accordingly to that. So let's get that classic Seeker mold out here. And he comes in right at unique toys. So this is about where a combiner should be, according to the scale, the official scale guide. Combiners all come up about Seeker mold. Okay, so unique toys gets a point for scaling well with them. But we're not done there, because there's the other scale that we have to talk about. That being with the iGear Raptor Squadron as your Seeker mold. And he stands right at the same height as the MMC Rampage. And again, that's where I think these guys need to be, is right at that scale. And that's if you're going combiner on a small size. Regular size combiner. That's where the TFC guys, or everyone else should be. So, just depending on what your scale idea is, I think only way, I'm going to take this point back from unique. No. Well, yeah, I will. I'll take the point back for scale. What I'm going to say is, because TFC is right in the middle, he's just a little bit bigger than Unique Toys, but he's a little bit smaller than Mastermind Creations. He's gets the point only because of the fact that you can kind of argue he's in both scales. Because here, you know, yeah, he's a little bit shorter, but you can argue that he's just a trooper. But here, you can argue that he's just a big troop in the Predacon army, and the Predacon should be bigger, which they should be. But you know, you can argue it one way or another. As far as like a hegemon figure goes, he scales best with him, but the same thing can be said about the TFC guys. You know, just a little bit shorter than Megatron. So yeah, there you go. TFC gets a point, so they're ahead. Transformation. His is really short and quick. It's nothing fancy. His, it's a little bit more ingenious, but nothing locks in as well as it should. He's definitely the best one out of the TFC Predacons. But like these things don't, I mean, they have tabs, and they're supposed to lock in, but they don't lock in as well as I would imagine. He's got bits that kind of hang off the side because they don't lock in. His arms don't lock in up in this position, so they tend to have a tendency of kind of coming out. And the head doesn't really lock in either. Again, it's got tabs and pegs that's supposed to lock it in, but it doesn't really do it as effectively as it could. Like this whole back panel, there's nothing holding this back panel in. And so, like I said, his transformation is different. It's fun, but because it doesn't quite go together properly, it's not in that. Now, his transformation is a little bit more complex than Unique Toys. About in the same level as the TFC one, but everything locks in perfectly. He's just a higher quality figure. He's in a different world of awesome than the other two. So just the engineering is better, the design is better, everything about him is better. So for transformation, he gets the point, and only him, because he really, really sells it. Now, Kibble. They all have the lion head. They all have, you know, him and Unique Toys has the paws sticking off the side, the whole back legs, whereas his are heel spurs. So he deals with his Kibble a little bit better. Both of their tails fold in on the leg. He's got paws sticking out the back of his hands. He's got paws sticking out the back of his hands. He's got paws sticking out of the back of his elbows. So as far as Kibble goes, they all succeed pretty well. The only real exception is, like, he's got this back piece that doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it kind of folds down well enough, but the tail has to come off and become the Hasbro style whip weapon, which is just, it's not a favorite of mine at all. It's something I really, really hate. As a matter of fact, even with the Beast Wars, I absolutely hated, like, when Cheetor would pull his tail off and use that as a club. I mean, really? He doesn't have that, and he doesn't have that. So, as far as Kibble goes, I'm going to give it to Unique Toys and the Mastermind Creations. I think they both pull that off pretty well. Playability. They're all equally great with playability. I think they all really work. in their own rights. They're a lot of fun, but wait. Let's talk about him for a second. Let's see, can we... Does he hold those? Yeah. So he's got shoulder cannons that you can take off and give him little pistols if you wanted to. He's got a sword. Playability will kind of go into weapons accessories. So he's got a sword. He's also got the big gun, which you can either, have him hold the big gun, or you can dismantle the big gun and get one of the smaller pieces out and give him a smaller gun. So he definitely has some play factor to him. You can also plug these in on the sides of his legs. He's got 2 ports, one on each side. So he does make use of that. And while we're on the topic of weapons and accessories, he does have a hand that just sits off to the side. TFC. He's got his tail gun, or his tail whip, which, I don't like. It's hideous. It's just a horrible thing. He's got a tow gun, which, to be all honest, it looks ridiculous. You can argue that that's a gun all you want. It looks just stupid. He's got this pick weapon, again, that looks stupid to me. I don't think that works. You can fold it in and say it's an axe, but you're really kind of stretching logic there. And then you get to his hand, which just sits off to the side. Now, that's not saying that he's not a fun toy. I'm just saying he's got less options than the unique toys. Unique toys, you can arm them up different ways. I mean, hell, you could take this big cannon here and plug it into his shoulder and have, giant monster cannon on his shoulder if you wanted to. You have more options with his accessories, which make him more of a playable figure. But they all pale in comparison to the Mastermind creations. As far as playability goes, this guy he feels like a sturdier toy. He feels like something a very high-end collector toy would be. I've never played with a Hot Toys or Sideshow collectible type figure, but that's where I would probably put him in quality-wise. He's not like your average go to the store and pick him up. He's sturdier. He's just designed better. So, he's got his knives, which plug into his hands. He's got his pistols, which plug into his hands. Okay? And you can go 2 knives, 2 pistols. He's got the extra face. You can change his face out if you want to. I count that as a playability factor because, hey, you never know. I might be like, you know what? I'm tired of yellow face. I'm going red face today. Okay. He's got he's got the Razor Claw's cannon, which does enhance the playability of Razor Claw. But if you don't have Razor Claw, you can plug it into his shoulder and have big cannon. Ridiculous, but it works. He also comes with the completion kit, so you get 2 of these little missile pods. Yeah, it comes with these arm fillers too, but he doesn't need the arm fillers because he was built a little bit more sophisticated than the others. But you can take these and plug those into his shoulders if you wanted to. Then you got bomb packs here, which, let's see. We could plug right back here. Give him like, almost, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We're going to put these down here, make them look like thrusters. So now he can fly. We're going to give him these blade weapons up here, so he looks like he can stab things. Maybe even a Voltron type look. Okay. Then we're going to take his knives here. We're going to store them on his hips. Alright. Now we're going to take a big gun here. We're going to put that in his hand. You kind of have to put his hand at an angle to make it... Wait, hold on. Let's see if this piece will fold up. And it does. It most definitely does fold up, meaning you can hold this... He doesn't have to hold it at an angle like I was about to say. You can take this and plug it in right here so he has a storage for it. Take the missile pods and there you go. Oh, so yeah, not only can he effectively use all the weapons that he comes with, but it actually doesn't look that bad. And he can utilize all of them at the same time, which is something that the rest of these guys just cannot do. They cannot use all their weapons at the same time. It just doesn't work, and they have the hand sitting off the side. You know, I faulted him in combined mode because he doesn't have the hand that comes with him, but I have to give him credit where credit's due on the fact that everything else works in this mode. So I'm going to give a solid point for both playability and weapons. Bot mode, I have to give it again. I think he just looks like a better bot mode than the other two. He just looks more awesome, more solid. Especially armed up like this. He's almost like G2 Sideswipe all armed up. Actually, this is just killing me here. So I give him bot mode. Style, I will give to TFC. Only because I like to think that they really did want to make him the like Dawns of Future Past style or timeline style Predacons. I'm going to give him a style point because that's what I'm really hoping that they did, because that's the only way I can make it seem to me like, okay, this works, because he's very G1, he's not. So I'll give him a style point on that assumption, and more or less I'm just kind of giving him a point. And as far as the G1 look goes, he doesn't look it right now because he's all armed to the teeth. I mean, he's one man he's a one-man Autobot wrecking crew here. To be honest, this is probably the only one that's going to get this point, or he's the only one that's going to get this point, because the rest of them have, you know, design elements that kind of put him out of the G1 style. Whereas he looks very G1, he just looks like the big brother. He just owns it in both, just everything that he does. You know what, screw it, I can't give TFC the style point. I'm giving in style and G1 to Mastermind Creations. I have to be honest. You know, I really like I said, this guy is my favorite favorite of the TFC Predacons. And right now, of the TFC figures I own, he's my second favorite, only to Scrapper. And he's just a really good figure. I really like him. But he's just not what the Mastermind Creations put out. And he is my favorite of the Unique Toys Predacons. But he doesn't hold a flame to the TFC one. and he just pales in comparison to Rambo Predacon over here. I mean, good lord, that's just hilarious. I love it. I mean, this thing is just incredible. So, okay, let's tally up the points. Mastermind Creations got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10. TFC got 3 out of 10. Unique Toys had 2 out of 10. So by a landslide, winner is Mastermind Creations. So, 4 down, 1 to go for the individual bots, and then we'll have the Predaking showdown. So, yeah, this is fun. So, question of the day is, I hope I was being fair. I think I'm being fair. I'm not trying to, I mean, I really went into this wanting to give him a win. Because I wanted Unique Toys on the map when we got into Predaking mode. And I don't think they are, really. I think TFC had a tie, was it? I have to rewatch the videos. And I wanted to give him a win, too. The TFC guy. I wanted to give him a win, or at least a tie. But just, it's so much better. I cannot express how much better this guy is. So, yeah. Hopefully I was being fair. I gotta give credit where credit's due. Again, you know, I wasn't as impressed with the dive bomb figure, but when it comes to the Rampage, he just makes up for it by a landslide. You know, I'm actually going to change his rating right now from a 9 to a 10 because of this. I think this is overkill and awesome. It's just incredible. So, yeah. Anyway.